Hello. Hello. It's me. And I don't know, I feel weird because I don't know. I changed my audio settings, and they look fine. Like, I'm still fucking maxing out most of the time. I don't fucking know, dude. My audio settings are always shit. Like, I could probably fucking lower it a little bit more, even. Give me a second. I lowered it more. My concerns are that, like, I don't know. My audio settings have been, like, the exact same for, I don't know, ever since I got this microphone, basically. I guess I fiddled with it for a handful of months after getting the microphone. But then I just kind of let it sit in, like, a not great position. Like, my audio's always been a little bit scuffed, and I talked about it, I don't know, a few streams ago, which at this point is, like, a couple months ago, since I don't really stream that often. But, yeah, I don't know. I know my audio is scuffed, and I could probably do things to make it better. Like, my microphone isn't great. There are, like, actual problems with the microphone itself, which I talked about. But I could probably be doing things on my end to make it better. So even though the microphone is not the best, I'm not doing my best either. So it's not really fair to just give up on, you know, all audio just because, like, the microphone is part of the issue. Yeah, I should probably lower my gain a little bit, which I have. But I do have fears that, like, I don't know, because I can't really, like, tell what my stream sounds like. You know what? Here, let's do an impromptu unmute, and let's take a listen to how I sound. Let's take a listen to how I sound. Let's take a listen to how I sound. Let's take a listen to how I don't know, that sounded fine. That seemed okay. That seemed decent. I run a very professional stream over here. I'll start the arbitrary timer. There you go. Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I'll fiddle with it with each coming stream until I eventually hopefully get to, like, a decent position where the audio doesn't sound, like, completely awful. It sounds, I mean, this is why I haven't messed with it that much in the past, is because for the most part I think my audio sounds fine. It's just, like, you know, when there's a big epic pog moment and I scream a little too loud, I, like, peak the shit out of my mic. Because I don't have any software level compression and, God forbid, hardware level compression. So, yeah, I don't know. I should probably tame it a little bit more so that when I get louder, it's not, like, ear-curdling. So yeah, anyway, lowered my gain. Hopefully it sounds decent. I don't know, you probably won't even really feel that much of a change, because I didn't lower the gain by that much. It's probably not even noticeable, but whatever. I feel better about it. Hi! Okay, my stalling part of the stream is over. I think I've stalled enough. Ready to get to something, to some activity. So this is not what we're going to be playing. I know it says Legend of Grimrock. That's not what we're going to be playing. Honestly, like, I don't even know why I kept Legend of Grimrock on the list. So just to make it fully transparent what we're doing here, I don't know, I've given up on thinking of interesting content to do myself. So instead, I'm just going to look to my past, look to my history of streams I've done, and spin a wheel for, like, basically every single thing I've done on my stream in the past, and that's what we'll be doing. I did prune a decent bit of them when I was making this list. For some reason, I decided to keep Legend of Grimrock on there. Probably not going to play it. I am going to give myself at least one mulligan. However, if I get two really bad ones in a row, I might just say fuck it and give myself as many mulligans as it takes to make myself satisfied. I'm not trying to make this, you know, like, look, I'm trying to make this fun, I guess is the way I should phrase it. Like, this is supposed to lead to a good stream, and if I get a bunch of shit choices back to back, I'm not just gonna roll with it and have an absolutely miserable time. Because that's not gonna make a good stream, no matter what. But I do think that this helps, because, like, I'm an indecisive motherfucker. I think that having some sort of, like, forced direction as for what I should do on my stream is beneficial for me, so here we go, I guess. Let's figure out what I'm supposed to be doing today. Just any ounce of direction for me. I'm aimless, man. You're fucking kidding. I can't. You're fucking kidding me, dude. This is the second time in a row this has happened. Well, I mean, the last time I did it, I didn't even have the wheel on screen, so it was kind of hard to prove. I swear to God, this isn't scripted. But also, I'll take it, you know? Fuck it, I don't give a shit. My own standards are, pick whatever is the easiest option forward, and this is about as easy as it fucking gets. You know? I'll take it. Okay, we're doing the Hobbit. Yeah, last time it picked Cruelty Squad. Which is, like, also one of the most recent things I've, like, started recently. Recently? How can I fit some more recentlys into the sentence? Okay. Well, fuck it. If I'm doing this, I guess I'll post a little announcy in the Hobbit section of the world as well. Okay. I didn't, like... I guess I'm doing Hobbit. I didn't plan for this to happen. It's not like... I don't even know if that website has, like, weights tied to each of the options, but I swear to Christ I didn't, like, fiddle with any weight values or anything. I guess I'm doing Hobbit. I mean, you saw the previous spin was fucking Legend of Grimrock, which I never would have decided on playing. LOL. There you go. I can't sound too fucking serious and doom and gloom. I guess I'm playing Hobbit is not the kind of vibe I'm trying to put out there. I do have fun plans for after this, though. Like, I wanted to, in case that the fucking wheel spinning section of the stream was a complete disaster, I do have something planned afterwards that's definitely going to be interesting at the very least. But, okay, now I have to, this is the downside, is I actually have to fucking set everything up for Hobbit. Which I wasn't planning on. Am I forgetting anything? Any percent NMG? I know that, like, the Hobbit definition of NMG is no menu glitches, but no major glitches shares the same acronym, and it's close enough. Stand-up comedy, as always. Yeah, fuck it. That seems good to me. I'll keep my title as Welcome All Gamers. This is a very welcoming gamer community. Thanks for stopping by in this welcoming gamer community. Okay. Hobbit. There you go. I know it doesn't look like much has changed, as is always the case. But I just fucking take actually a decade to set things up. Oh, what if, dude? What if I had to play a game with a joystick input display? I would not be prepared in the slightest. I'm very rarely prepared these days. Open splits. Hobbit. Here we go. We're getting there, though. I feel like it's probably better for me to do things this way, though, because whenever I'm preparing for a stream off-stream, it takes me, like, way longer than it ever should. Like, setting up my stream is a fucking 30-minute minimum exercise in futility. Okay. Hobbit. I think we got everything set up. Mostly. I gotta open the game. Hey, and look, I've even got Zero Ranger. Let me restart the fucking OST so that it runs a little bit longer. Or do I want to listen to Zero Ranger? That's a tough one. I haven't listened to it in a bit. Fuck it, I'll just do it. Okay. I'll live with YouTube abruptly shutting down my auto-playing music. It's fine. I'll live with it. That's, you know, I'm used to it. I'm used to it. Okay. He's done it. He's officially, let me like double check my stream and make sure it actually looks right. Yeah, he is actually officially set up the Hobbit. And what? It only took like a couple of minutes since the wheel was decided. Maybe that's generous. It probably took me closer to the 8 minutes displayed on my timer there. All right, whatever. Why do I have a? Ooh, I gotta load in inside info from the races. You love to see it because I kind of wanted to practice the Clouds Burst. I wanted to practice the Clouds Burst a little bit. All right, this is a flawless clip, flawless as always. Oh, look at that! Look at this flawless gameplay. I don't know. I still feel like I can get a PB in the Hobbit. Like it's definitely, I don't know, in the next 3 or 4 streams of the Hobbit, which means somewhere in the next year probably I'll actually get a PB. It's crazy, like, how many people, well, for one, how many people started, like, The Hobbit all at once is, I don't know, mostly, kind of, I don't know, is it unfair to say a lot of it was just as a result of critical looking at the MK documentary, or is it too mean to say that? Look, it from the beginning stemmed from MK's documentary, so maybe I should just give MK the credit since MK is, like, an actual part of the community and not just an outsider showing some love. But definitely a lot of people came from Critical specifically. That was super lucky, by the way. I don't know the exact odds on that spider not poisoning you if it hits you, but it's fairly unlikely to happen. All right, schmoofment. But there was a lot of people who started The Hobbit and very quickly stopped The Hobbit afterwards, which I guess I don't really have too much experience with that, because I mean, all of the games that I have speedrun in the past are from, like, not very, very cool, are from not very active communities to be, well, I guess Minecraft, right? So I guess I should give Minecraft, like, a little bit of credit, as if it really needs the recognition. This hip little indie game is not really getting the traction it deserves. We need to shout out Minecraft speedrunning a little bit harder. But yeah, okay, I guess, yeah, sure, there were, like, a lot of people, but I don't know, it's much harder to tell, in like, a speedrunning community. This is awesome gameplay. It's a lot harder to tell in just, like, a massive, community, like Minecraft speedrunning, like, how many people are submitting new runs and then, like, abruptly stopping altogether, like, weeks afterwards. I imagine it's probably more common for Minecraft, don't get me wrong, but it was just, like, especially evident in The Hobbit because of how small it was to begin with, seeing, like, an influx of, well, to exact numbers don't really do it justice, because I could say seeing an influx of, like, 10 people starting the speedrun, it's not really that impressive, but it's more like seeing an influx of, you know, 300 to 400% the active amount of speedrunners overnight is kind of crazy. And then, like, you know, a few weeks later, almost all of those people don't run it anymore. But also, the thing that I wanted to talk about that's most noteworthy towards my own experiences in this world, like, literally everybody has a better run than me. So I feel like I need to step it up slightly. Ooh, nice movement. I can do better than what I am. I mean, like, that was, like, the slope boost to get up here was by far the worst I've ever done that, like, repeatedly. But I don't know. How much credit should I give myself for, you know, the very, very little amount of effort that I actually put into running this game? Oh, come on, dude. That was it. Whatever. How do I fall down here? Do I have to, like, go... I don't know what, like, there's so many weird invisible walls here. I guess this is, like, good enough. It was kind of scuffed, but it made it. Anyways, let me just load the game, because I fucked it. I fucked it up. I feel like I can definitely still get a PB despite my lack of, you know, non-existent practice. my non-existent practice. But maybe that's just, like, severe copium. Like, oh, I'm just, like, built different. I'll just get a PB without any effort put into it. I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like there haven't been... Well, maybe Barrels at a Bond is the exception. There haven't been too many instances where, like, I've completely lost my ability to do something in the run. Barrels is yeah, the one prime counter-argument you could pose there. But still, I don't know. I feel like my problem with Barrels is not that, like, I unlearned it. I feel like my problem with Barrels is that I never really learned it to begin with. Like, I feel like I just got really lucky with how easily I managed to do the trick in the beginning, and then I never, like, really learned what it looks like when you're doing it wrong, or what it should look like when you're doing it right. I feel like that was my problem with Barrels, and I think I've somewhat combated against that. Like, I feel like I have a better understanding of what I should be doing for Barrels, but it's still a little scuffed. Speaking of scuffed, had way too much movement coming out there. I guess this is still savable, right? You would just go over to the ladder like normal. Well, normal, and do the jump. See, but that's the kind of thing that, like, I just don't even think of. It's like, if I fuck that up in a real run, what happened now would have happened in the real run. Like, I would have just not known how to react immediately, gotten killed by a fucking dumbass goblin, and here I am back at the start of the level. But also, I'm just going to do runs, because practice is boring. And I don't know. I don't really care that much if I PB one way or the other. Maybe that's, like, my biggest problem. Lack of enthusiasm, as they would say in Ni no Kuni. I started playing Ni no Kuni recently, which maybe seems like a bad idea, considering... Like, previously I had talked about how my girlfriend and I started playing through Final Fantasy VI and gave up on it. Well, I don't know, gave up on it. We're taking a break. Quote unquote, wink wink, nudge nudge, we're taking a break from playing Final Fantasy VI. I feel like eventually we will get back to it. I can't even remember what I said about Final Fantasy VI, but I was expecting more out of Final Fantasy VI, and maybe that's probably just, like, my own perception that's skewed, and, like, I had way too large of expectations. But, like, the way that people talk about the story in Final Fantasy VI, I was really expecting, like, I don't know, I was expecting more, just to put it bluntly. I just wanted more out of it, and maybe there is more. Maybe it's like, you know, a play on the beginning of the game being, like, the most cliche thing you've ever seen, or maybe it's just, like, the time period the game came out in and people not really having washed out of, like, the cliches and tropes that the standard RPG has. But I don't know, it just is just as bland as any fucking RPG can be so far. Maybe that'll change. Maybe it really is like a, you know, just like an illusion that's going to be broken at some point, and you thought this is what the game was going to be like, but then it hits you with the real serious stuff. Maybe that'll happen, but my current perception of Final Fantasy VI is that it is, like, it's certainly got a slow start. It has a slow start. And I don't even know how like, far into the game we are at this point. I think the last thing we did was, like, the most memorable thing, and I mean, see, that's hard to pick apart. Like, the real last thing we did in Final Fantasy VI, I could not tell you, but the last thing that stands out in my mind is, we went on a fucking ghost train, which was kind of fun, I guess. But still, nothing too grandiose or anything. I think we're still in the part of the game where you're, like, going through each of the 3, like, groups' story arcs before they meet up, but I can't for the life of me remember where exactly we were. I think we were following the thief's journey, where you had to do, like, weird pseudo stealth gameplay. Not really stealth gameplay, but you're, like, I don't know, you're Hitman style, stealing people's costumes. And, like, maybe this is the kind of stuff that that makes Final Fantasy VI stand out. Like, maybe this kind of gameplay, the fact that I am, you know, going through a pseudo-stealth section is what makes Final Fantasy VI, like, a phenomenal RPG for the time it came out. But, like, me, you know, playing the game in 2022, I'm like, god damn, this is not fucking interesting. Like, I don't know. Maybe there's more to it, but I am not immediately impressed by Final Fantasy VI. Oh, that was epic, dude. That was epic for magnitudes never before seen on this channel. So yeah, taking a break from Final Fantasy VI, I needed a little bit of an RPG detox, which will surprise you as to why the fuck we're playing Ni no Kuni, which is another somewhat long JRPG. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Ni no Kuni is immediately more, like, grabbing than Final Fantasy VI is, if not for just, like, the art style, which is cheap, I know, but, like, it's just cute, and it's just, like, a fun world to be in. I will say the dialogue in Ni no Kuni is particularly exhaustive. Like, really, really exhaustive. Like, they fucking go off, dude. Like, the fucking drippy motherfucker will not shut up. Which me, being the the dedicated cringe voice actor for the sake of entertainment for myself and my girlfriend, good lord, doing a really bad Scottish accent for, you know, hours at end is a little tiring. So, you know, hopefully the dialogue, like, tempers itself a little bit past, like, the introduction part of the game. We're still in, like, the very first area. Like, one thing that stands out to me is, like, so, I don't know, Ni no Kuni spoilers for, like, the very beginning of the game. There's a part of the game where you're supposed to, like, discover what has happened to the fucking king cat. And by doing so, you, like, go to your parallel world to find out what happened to its fucking soulmate in your world, which is great. But to talk about how exhaustive the dialogue is, like, I think Drippy genuinely explained the concept of soulmates 3 times in the same, like, dialogue, like, in the same set of exposition. Like, he really wanted to drive the point home about soulmates. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe in, like, playtesting or some sort of QA, there were, like, complaints about, I don't really fucking know what's going on in this part of the story or something, but whatever led to Drippy saying, like, basically the exact same line, like, 3 or 4 times over, it's a bit much. It's a bit much, and that's just, like, one example. He's doing this shtick throughout, like, every little bit of tutorialization or exposition. He just goes on and on and on. And I'm not really expecting that to change. I kind of expect it. Ooh, very fortunate rock RNG there. I'm kind of expecting that to just, like, be what the game is. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to say it's marketed towards a younger audience, because I don't necessarily think that's the case, but also I don't know. I feel like it wants to be accessible to a younger audience, which is maybe a different argument that kind of leads to the same end result. While it might not necessarily be for a younger audience, they definitely want a younger audience to be able to appreciate it. So they go off. They go off on the dialogue in places that they definitely don't need to. Which can be tiring, for sure, but hopefully it gets better, is where I'll stand on that. Why else is Ni no Kuni interesting to me? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really explain why I feel like I can have a better time with Ni no Kuni than I can with Final Fantasy VI right about now. It's going well. Thanks for stopping by. I'm gaming. Gaming like always. But yeah, for whatever reason, we're playing through Ni no Kuni, which, I mean, hopefully I don't feel like I need a tolerance break from this, but I honestly wouldn't be surprised if I take like a minor tolerance break. The tolerance break we took from Final Fantasy VI was not straight into Ni no Kuni. I really should be doing quick saves here, even in my regular runs and not just in the race runs. Like it takes a few seconds and saves the run if I'm a fucking dumbass, which I find myself often being a bit of a dumbass. And just this trick in general, I always say it like every time I get to it, but it just takes me a while to get warmed up to it. Like, there you go. I'm never gonna fail it again. Literally, for the rest of the stream, never gonna fail it again. And I'll keep that promise by making sure that this run PBs, so I can just immediately move on to whatever the fuck I'm doing after this. Which, by the way, is a JRPG. for me talking about how much I need a tolerance break from JRPGs, I just can't stop fucking playing them. But yeah, I didn't go straight from Final Fantasy VI to playing Ni no Kuni. We played through the entirety of Symphony of the Night, which I think I briefly mentioned. I don't know, maybe I didn't mention it. It's not coming to mind now that I think about it, but we played through the entirety of Symphony of the Night, which is a much smaller game than I remembered it being. Only lost 10 seconds with the death there. Well, okay, I probably lost more than 10 seconds. I think I lost like 20 seconds. I'm only 10 seconds behind, though, which is manageable. I need to remember how fucking life split works. Please don't double snipe me here. Please, dude. I've been such a good boy. Just let me get through the beginning of riddles. I'm gonna die. Yep. God damn it, dude. Why? I mean, there's a number of things that happen there. RNG bat, as always. I say it's RNG bat, though I'm pretty sure it's like... I think the bats are fairly deterministic. Like, it seems like they always shoot within a certain, amount of time of seeing you. I think the reason I just... Nope, I'm getting beat the fuck up now. I have no idea how the bats work, I guess. There you go. I made it alive, somehow. I love you, alive girl. Yeah, I think the bats are somewhat deterministic, he says, is getting pelted repeatedly by fireballs. I'm just bad at the start of it. Like, the lead up to when I get to the... Have I been calling them spiders or bats? What am I saying? Regardless, I think the bats are somewhat deterministic. I just enter the area, like, at a seemingly random time because I'm slow. I should probably be saving here also, but whatever. This run is bad enough that I honestly don't give a shit about continuing it. If this is what does it in, and it is going to be what does it in. No worries. Thanks for hanging out. But, fuck, what was I talking about before I got distracted by my own ineptitude? I should do this one more time just to practice. Just to practice before I hit the fat reset button. Well, now that I said that, oh, see, that's where I'm getting damaged. I knew there was a weird spot that I regularly get damaged at that I don't even notice it. It's when I'm ledge grabbing there. The animation doesn't play that I get hit or anything. I think that's what Crix was trying to tell me. No, Crix was saying some bullshit about when you're in the air. Crix doesn't know what he's talking about, honestly. He's got a couple screws loose. I'm saying this in hopes that Crix yells at me. But that's fine. Anyways, yeah, fucking Castlevania. Castlevania, good game. I mean to play through, because I don't know, it's been a while. I don't think I ever fully finished Aria of Sorrow or Dawn of Sorrow. And at first I thought that Dawn of Sorrow was like the more respected amongst the two, but I've learned recently that most people fucking hate the shit out of Dawn of Sorrow. I think that Aria of Sorrow is better. Mostly for, like, I don't know, from what I could see, it was a lot of people complaining about the art style, which maybe I'll look at it and be like, oh, they've got a point. Fucking Dawn of Sorrow really does look like shit dookie garbage. Oh, nice. I didn't even fucking... Does that mean... I'm still gonna reset my game anyways. I couldn't tell if I hit the switch, like, after crossing the border. I don't even know if that's even possible, that you can hit the switch after you've gone through the checkpoint, the split in the road. regardless, let me just delete and exit. Let's get a mental refresh going here before I go off on more meaningless bullshit. It's nice to get an easy mental reset point when you restart the game. Yeah. High priority. Much like my position in speedrun communities. I'm a very high priority target. I'm very easy to be persuaded, apparently. Well, I don't know. Crix has been trying me to do fucking all quests. I'm somewhat easily persuaded into doing very short, small speedruns. I will absolutely never be persuaded into any sort of long-form speedrun. And for that, I got dropped from high-quality target to low quality, just like that. I don't know, I just never understood, like, longer speedruns. I mean, I guess, like, I don't know. I don't really get it. I mean, for me, I just find speedruns to, like, fun to do, because it's, I don't know, it's fun to go fast and also, like, do cool tricks and that kind of thing. Like, I don't think I would ever seriously speedrun SM64, but I still enjoy playing SM64, you know, using cool movement and you know, I try and do that kind of dumb shit when I'm doing ROM hacks. Not that I've done ROM hacks in a long-ass fucking time, but still, I enjoy knowing that movement exists in the game, because I think it just makes the game more fun to play when you know how to be sick as fuck in it. That's just the way I play video games, you know, that's my gamer mentality. That's what keeps me going. That's what wakes me up in the morning. Rise and grind, gamers. Get ready to do fucking slope boost, spun my mouse around on my table. I feel like I hold my mouse in a subnormal position. I know I've talked about this before, but I have my mouse resting like right beneath my keyboard in more or less the dead center of my mouse pad. Which, I don't know, I feel like it's not that weird in the context of, you know, like 50% keyboards that exist, or even less, like a fucking 40% keyboard. I feel like then I you know, my scuffed mouse positioning starts to make a little bit more sense. God damn it, the menus aren't working for me today. I'm really living that 50% keyboard lifestyle with the 100% keyboard. More than 100% keyboard, because I have fucking macro buttons. Like, I really have a much bulkier keyboard than I would ever need. I do understand the appeal to, like, a 50% keyboard, but also, like, it feels like such a... Like, I fucking hate having to, like, go over to where I leave my fucking PlayStation controller or Xbox controller. I hate having to, like, switch out hardware to play a game. And that's, like... I mean, that's kind of a necessity when you have, like, a 50% keyboard. I struggle to imagine a real human being living their lives, like, fully on a 50% keyboard. Like, how the fuck do you do anything just with a 50% keyboard? I mean, maybe there's, like, more acceptable ratios. Like, maybe the 60% keyboard? Because my understanding... Oh, nice, dude. My understanding... Oh, I'm gonna die! My understanding of a 50% is that it doesn't even have arrow keys? Which... I mean, I use my arrow keys feverishly. And not just because I program. But, I don't know, I just find myself needing the use of the arrow keys. They're like a pretty useful set of buttons for typing. But maybe there's a 60% I should be looking into or something. I don't know, I just feel like it kind of became like a fad thing. Not to say that it's just for the sake of a fad, but I do feel like there was a bit of an arms race for a period, like flexing how fucking little of a keyboard you have. Like, yeah, dude, I'm rocking that 10% for gaming. It's like literally just WASD. You're absolutely fucked if whatever game you're playing needs like an interact button like E or something. I guess you can rebind those to mouse buttons. I press shift, Bilbo. I press shift. Anyway, I got sidetracked pretty hard. I was talking about Castlevania or something. Symphony of the Night's a very weird game. Oh, you know what? I definitely talked about Symphony of the Night in the past, because I was complaining about the location of the first Bat Form upgrade, which I still think is, like, really, I don't know. I feel like the positioning of Bat Form would have made way more sense if, because I'm trying to remember, like, I can't remember how you access that area that you need Mist Form to get into. I mean, this is, like, as niche as a conversation about Symphony of the Night can get. Like, I don't know, I don't want to imagine how much, like, map knowledge you would just casually need to know about the game to understand what I'm talking about here. But I think you needed double jump, at the very least, to get into the room where you need Mist Form to get Bat Form. And I think my biggest problem with that is, for one, that, like, you can, like, it's in an area that you've almost already, like, fully explored, or probably, by this point, have almost fully explored, because it's, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from exploring it, and that's just kind of how Metroidvanias go, is you explore the places you can, usually to the fullest extent. In case you miss something important, like, Bat Form, for example. But you can fully explore almost the entire area. There's just one, like, literally just one tiny, like, single block in the map, because the map is, like, separated into little blocky segments. It's one single block of the map where Bat Form is, but every single other part of that area can be fully explored. And the only thing stopping you from exploring that one tiny area is Bat Form, or sorry, Mist Form. And the other issue I have with it is that it's at, like, the very far side of the map. So when you're just casually glancing at the map, it's very easy to ignore that and not think it's a big deal because of, how small the room is. And also, like, it can't lead to anything bigger because it's, like, I think it's at the far left side of the map, maybe at the right side, I don't remember that much, but, like, you would never think it's anything important. It would literally be, like, the last thing you fucking check, which was, in our case, like, it was the last thing we fucking checked, and then, hey, there's the actual most important item in the game. Hey, Moose, what's up? Oh, I should have mentioned, I should have done, like, some slight announcement, but I don't know, I guess that's kind of, like, why I'm streaming today, when, hey, celebrations, right? I streamed 6 days after my last stream, instead of the past history of me streaming 7 days apart every Saturday, which has been, like, my last, I don't know, month of streaming has just been me streaming on Saturdays, because I'm lazy. Yeah, the reason I'm streaming today instead of tomorrow is because tomorrow I'll be recording a very professional, very, very important interview with my good friend Moose. Mainly because I think it's, I don't know, to me, I just think it's an interesting concept to do a stream with someone you consider, like, a friend. And not even just because they're, I don't know. I feel like it's not just because they're a friend, but also, like, I wouldn't fucking interview my friend Austin, because he's got nothing interesting to say. He's working, like, a fucking normal-ass job. But interviewing a friend of mine that I specifically met through streaming is fun to me, because I feel like there's a lot of things that I talk about very openly on my stream, like, all the time. I don't shy away from talking about that streaming most of the time leaves me feeling like there's no point in me fucking doing it, but I somehow find myself continuing to do it regularly-ish. But I feel like there's a lot of things that people who stream, especially to a smaller audience, don't talk about at all. And, I mean, for a number of reasons, I don't think that's a good thing to do to your mental health, is to kind of, like, I don't know, ignore that these are things that you think about. I feel like it's healthier for me to be more open about it. And I mean, I'm not saying that, like, it's guaranteed going to leave you in, like, a bad mental state, but I don't know, I feel like all streamers, like, especially if you're streaming to no audience, need some form of therapy, and I'm not that. Like, that's not my goal for the interview. I'm not a therapist. I don't think that, I can help Moose in any real helpful way. But I still think that it's important to talk about the issues that come with streaming, because there are a number of issues. And I tried to prune down my question list today because I feel like I was a little bit too... I don't know. I went a little too in-depth in places that didn't need to go in-depth in, and there were a few places that I didn't have enough questions in that I padded out a little bit. Not that I'm going to hit you with any, super shocker surprises, Moose. It's still basically the list of questions that I sent over. Because, I don't know. Maybe that's something interesting to talk about. I did send Moose the list of questions ahead of time. I feel like, I don't know, interviews are weird. I feel like the only instance where you would want to surprise, the interviewee, the person getting interviewed, is if, you're really expecting to catch them in a lie or something. I feel like it makes sense for politicians to be interviewed without, prompted on the questions ahead of time. Because, most politicians, don't really keep the promises they led on the platform before they got, elected into office. But anyways, aside the point. Point is, in most, common run-of-the-mill interviews with just, vaguely interesting people on the internet, I don't really see any sort of benefit to shocking the person being interviewed with questions. There's very little reason you would want somebody to be on the spot. If you're doing an interview to get, the most accurate and well-thought-out answers to these questions, why aren't you giving the person you're interviewing time to prepare answers ahead of time? And there's some argument that can be made about, then it feels too scripted, and it feels like if they've got everything prepared, it could ruin the mood or the atmosphere of the interview. But in most cases, I've seen plenty of interviews that I know the interviewee were given the questions ahead of time, and I don't think that it feels unnatural in any way. I feel like that's just an excuse that's given. I don't know why. Look, I know, for example, Path of Exile, whenever recently, within, the past half a year or so, they did a handful of interviews, and most of the interviews Chris Wilson did, he was given the list of questions, the full list of questions expected to be asked ahead of time, and there was some outlash, and this is, one of the main examples that I get to see the other side of and see why people are against this sort of thing, why people don't want the interviewee to be given the questions ahead of time. But every single argument was just it ruins the fun of the interview if he's been given time to prepare the answers, which I don't understand. Every single answer that Chris Wilson provided was well thought out, and he wasn't even holding back. Many of the, questions that made GGG look bad, or Chris Wilson personally look bad, because there were, some remarks about in the past Chris Wilson when writing, the hype announcement pages for Path of Exile had, overhyped certain aspects to it. One that was brought up regularly was, there was one Path of Exile patch. Why do I always turn too far and then too much in the other direction there? There was one Path of Exile patch in particular that, it was genuinely, a slight afterthought of the development team that they wanted to bring up the level of, a few, 50 or something skill gems. And then Chris Wilson was doing, his normal hype rounds before the full, patch notes were released. And in, a one-off interview, he said something about the 50 gems that were getting, buffed. And he was something that's not really talked about in any of the press is the fact that our developers had buffed, 50 skill gems. And, they're trying to be muted about it, but Chris Wilson himself was this this is big, you know, there's changes to these 50 skill gems, and you're going to be excited about them. And then the actual patch notes came out, and there was, you know, they weren't that substantial at all, really. So I remember there's that question in particular was getting ragged on, because it was brought up in another interview, like, a few months later, and they were like, why the fuck would you let Chris Wilson know you're going to ask that question ahead of time? Like, you know, he had plenty of time to think of a really maniacal, malicious answer to cast away blame there. But he didn't cast away blame. Like, he literally just said, yeah, that's my bad, you know, I was excited about it. I hadn't seen the actual patch notes, so I probably shouldn't have said they were as impactful as I said they were, and I don't know. The answer felt satisfying to me. I really see, like, no excuse for why the average interview or interviewer shouldn't give the interviewee the questions ahead of time. Makes very little sense to me. Like, I saw an interview, like, a few days ago, because I was talking to Moose. Do I play PoE? I do play PoE. Not, like, super actively. I streamed it a handful of times in the past, but, like, streaming PoE is just bad. Like, it's just not fun to watch. What's up, Vish? Welcome back. PoE is... I don't know. I have mixed thoughts about PoE. I guess I'll talk about PoE immediately after I cap off this interview stuff. Yeah, I just wanted to mention. So I was talking to Moose. Like, Moose messaged me out of the blue this week. And I got, like, sidetracked on some fucking tangential line of reasoning that had been in my head for a few days now, actually. But I just found the opportunity to fucking jam it into conversation. So, like, I don't know, like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, it was a few years ago, YouTube, as YouTube does, recommended me a video that, like, I would never have watched if it wasn't just, like, plastered on my homepage, right? And it was interesting enough. Like, it stood out among the other YouTube recommended videos that I just had to click on it. And as is usual me fashion, I did so in an incognito browser because I despise when when my YouTube recommendeds get fucked. Sorry, Moose. Who tried to sabotage that a little bit. But, yeah, it was... let me see if I can find the video, because I know how to get to the channel now. I'll link it in my chat. It was this video right here. And especially if you can see the thumbnail, I mean, depending on if you use, I think, BTTV or Franker Faces will show you the thumbnail when you hover over the link. The thumbnail stands out. Oh, fuck, I right-clicked and clicked inspect. No, I don't want to inspect the elements of my chat. The video has no title on it, and it's just like a fucking, like, dead-looking pixel art frog. And the video, I don't think it had 2 million views at the time that I saw it. I think it just had like a few 100,000. But it stood out enough for me to be like, why does this like 19-second video have hundreds of thousands of views with no name on it and just like a very obscure thumbnail picture? So I clicked on it. But what was even more interesting was the channel itself. The channel also has no name on it. And at the time, they were, like, leaning really... Well, I guess they're kind of still leaning really heavily into that. The fact that, you know, they're trying to make, like, a popular YouTube channel with, like... They say, like, I don't know, I feel like they get off to it because they're like, we're being as anti-algorithm as possible. Like, you can't even search our videos. Because most of their videos don't have a title, or at least at the time. They've strayed away from that and just, like, post a lot of, like... Well, I don't know. They post a lot of, like, you know, most algorithm-grabbing content as they possibly fucking can. So to me, I find it funny that, like, they would ever try to have the appearance that they're against the algorithm when, like, literally everything they do and all of their success is as a result of the algorithm. Because, like, yeah, you can't really search their videos. You can, so like the channel does have a name despite it not visibly having a name. Like it's under, I think it's called Angel No Name. I don't even remember what I just searched to find it. So you can search it if you know the channel name, but you would only know that if you looked at the URL for the channel, obviously. If you were just like passing by and saw the channel just on your homepage or anything, you wouldn't be able to find it from that again, which is why it was kind of hard. Like, it was genuinely kind of difficult to find the channel again when I was trying to show it to Moose, but I got there. But why have I brung this up in the discussion of interview? Because I think that the person who runs it is interesting enough to get a real interview, but I've only seen that they did one interview with one person. And no offense to that person, because I'm sure you can find that interview yourself if you look for it. It has to be the worst fucking interview I've ever seen. You could tell that the person, Angel, if they want to be referred to as that, was not given the questions ahead of time. But beyond that, like, none of the questions were fucking substantial whatsoever. Like, they were the most fucking boring, uninteresting, non-insightful questions an interviewer could have asked. I left the interview feeling like nothing that I wanted answered was answered. It is a bit of a letdown, and I skimmed it because it was also boring as fuck despite only being 10 minutes. What's up, Sullivan? How's it going? I'm doing my standard bullshit. You know, I'm pretty sure all of you don't know that I wasn't going to play The Hobbit today. I started the stream by spinning a fucking wheel of choice with like 30 or 40 different games on it, and it just ended up being The Hobbit. So here I am. I really don't want to play that much more Hobbit. Like, I'm fairly sick of The Hobbit myself. Despite knowing I can definitely get a PB, just don't have, like, the care to put any real effort into PBing in this game. I'm not a speedrunner. Like, I don't stream on Twitch because I care about getting a good time in a video game. I stream on Twitch because I care about being, you know, entertaining. Hopefully providing somebody with smiles or laughs occasionally. And I don't really feel like The Hobbit kind of assists my goal there. Like, I have fun playing it. I think that the game is still decently fun just to play, which is why, like, races are, like, a good environment for me to play this game. But the main fun of races, to me, is just getting a chance to talk to some of the other people in the community that I like. Like, that's why I like doing races. And I don't know. Yeah, it's funny to me when I see people, like, you know, like, I got fucking Resident Sleepered by Nitra, who's, you know, fucking annoying in his own ways. God bless his soul. But I agree with it, right? Like, I know The Hobbit's not particularly interesting to watch either. The thing that bugs me is that, like, I feel like I would want to have a channel where people understand the game is not what the channel's about. Like, I could be playing literally anything right now. The only thing that I care about with my stream is the shit that falls out of my mouth. And, you know, most of the time that's a mixed bag. I do have a lot of boring streams in that regard, too. But, I don't know, man. That's why I don't really care about, like, leaving up what I'm going to play to a fucking random wheel. Like, I don't truly give a shit what I'm playing one way or the other. There are certainly some games that I would prefer not to play. But, yeah, as far as, like, the list of things that I could be playing in this segment, like, I could be playing The End Is Nigh, which I still haven't finished. I could be playing Boomerang X, which is a game I said I would play about, like, a year and a half ago and still haven't. I could be playing Terraria, though I would kind of want to shoot my brains out because the beginning game of Terraria is the most boring thing in the world. But I could be playing any number of games that I plan on playing in the future or have said I plan on playing in the past. Doesn't really matter. It's just a visible backdrop to whatever the mundane bullshit I'm talking about. Yeah, interviews. Interviews are crazy, dude. So I'm gonna interview Moose tomorrow, and we're gonna do it recorded style. I don't know. Do I want to drag Moose? I'm not gonna drag Moose. too hard. I'm gonna mention it just because, look, Moose, if you're still here, I just think it's funny. I understand. So, okay, when I presented Moose, first of all, I'm just incredibly thankful that Moose is still agreeing to do the interview at all, because the premise of the interview of just, like, interviewing a friend, and talking about some, like, uncomfortable subjects relating to streaming is, I don't know, it's a very personal and yeah, uncomfortable thing to do in the first place. So the fact that, like, he agreed to it to begin with, and beyond that, stuck with it even after I sent him the list of, like, very probing, uncomfortable questions, I'm just incredibly thankful that he still wants to be a part of it. Because, like, I feel like the first guest, and I plan on having multiple people that I've interacted with on stream being interviewed in the same format. Moose is just my first guest, but I do feel like that first guest is kind of the most important. Like, I'm glad Moose is the first guest, because I feel like he would be a really good fit for a number of reasons. So yeah, incredibly thankful, but also, so I messaged Moose, and the whole time that I was, like, setting it up, I had just had the assumption that we were going to stream the interview, just because I should fix my music. I've just now realized it's stopped. Yes, YouTube, I do want to keep listening to this at the cost of me resetting my PB pace run, my 9-second ahead run. Yeah, so I had just been going under the assumption that we would be streaming the interview because we both stream. But I understand. I do understand why he wanted it to be recorded offline, because it is, like, admittedly very uncomfortable. And even though I've given him time to prepare the answers, like, you know, I wouldn't blame him for wanting to take a pause and you know, fully figure out how he wants to answer a question. Because I mean, while I did give him a full question list, I have, like, lightly shuffled things around a little bit and made it, you know, more clear for my sake of being able to ask the questions in a reasonable manner. So yeah, you know, it makes sense that it can be a lot of pressure, right? And especially when you're talking about, like, the serious sides of streaming to you know, 0/low viewership for, you know, months or years or however long Moose has been doing it. I don't know, it's really personal, so I understand him wanting to get it right, if that makes sense. But it also struck me off guard, because I was like, oh, fuck, dude, I was gonna make this a whole event. I'm still gonna make it an event, so I'm gonna do the interview tomorrow, and then I'm going to see if it needs any editing done to it, which I'm gonna be honest, like, despite Moose being paranoid or self-conscious about the fact that it might not be perfect, thanks, Ham, I feel like Moose is gonna do great. Like, I don't think that Moose has too much of a reason to worry. So if anything needs to be edited, I doubt it is going to be needed to be edited, but if there is anything, it's probably not going to be that much. So immediately after the interview, I'm just gonna, like, throw it into my editing software, see what needs to be trimmed down. And then Sunday, I'm going to be doing a stream where I premiere it. So I'm just gonna blast the video. I'll be in chat. Like, I don't want to talk over it. I don't want to do a fucking Will reacts to the interview he did one day ago. I'm just gonna let the video play as it plays, and if there are any questions in chat, I'll be there, I guess. But I feel like that's the best way to do it. And I mean, it depends on the guests going forward. Like, I'm still always open to streaming the interviews, just because, for me, I don't know, I feel like streaming interviews like that opens up a lot of possibility for questions being asked in chat that I never would have thought of asking. Not that I'm going to say it's always a good idea to take questions from chat, especially with the subject matter as it is being pretty personal, but, you know, I do have some lapses in judgment where I might be missing some really important questions. Like, you know, I just went off and shat on that one person for interviewing Angel No Name. I'm sure that there are plenty of questions that I should be asking that aren't on my list. So I do feel like there is a place for this interview to be done live, but I'm just going to leave it up to each individual guest. So I don't know who I'm going to do after Moose. I'll say my lineup consists of Crix. I plan on asking Crix after Moose. I'm sure Crix will be down with it. I plan on asking Nicholas, who, I mean, you know, full transparency, I haven't really talked to in months. And I'm, you know, that's mostly my fault. I'm really bad at keeping in touch with people. But I would love to talk to Nicholas because he's actually stopped streaming. And I think that, you know, that's a good insight. And I know that Nicholas has always had concerns with streaming, and you know, he did get very anxious about the number side of things, which we talked about a little bit. So I think Nicholas would be a really good example of you know, seeing somebody who has always been anxious about streaming and seeing how they feel after they've stopped streaming for like a prolonged period of time. You know, I'm in a similar boat. I did stop streaming for close to like 8 months, I think. I took like a decently long break, and I definitely felt better about things in the time that I wasn't streaming. Like, the break was seriously needed. So yeah, I would love to hear what Nicholas thinks, and also my friend Jen, who also stopped streaming. Though honestly, that situation is a bit more of a mystery to me, despite me being, I mean, probably, maybe closer friends with Jen than I was with Nicholas. I mean, we work together. We definitely talk to each other a lot more off stream than Nicholas and I did, just as a, you know, result of working together, I guess. But yeah, I never really knew what Jen's thoughts on streaming were at the time, because I never knew her when she was actively streaming. In fact, I think she like stopped streaming just a few months before we met. So I'd love to hear her story too, if she's willing to share it. Those are my list of potential interviewees. Who knows if I'll be able to get all of them or any of them, but we'll see. My biggest worry about it is that I'm afraid it might end up being formulaic. Because, like, an interview in this fashion, it's hard to do. Like, when I was looking at what questions I wanted to ask, almost all of them are questions I would want to ask universally to anybody, you know, who I have on as a guest, which I'm not sure makes for a great interview. I feel like most of the time, if you're going to be interviewing multiple people, even if it's about, you know, the same common subject matter, I feel like you want the bulk or the majority of the questions to be specific to the person you're interviewing. But that's hard, because I feel like there's just a lot. There's a lot of questions I'd like to ask that could be asked to basically anybody, you know, who has streamed to you know, low viewership, no viewership, for any prolonged period of time. So I don't know. I worry that, like, too many of the questions will be too samey for each interview, but I guess we'll come across that when we come across that. That's probably not the biggest problem, because, I don't know, even though the questions are the same, the answers will hopefully be different enough from person to person that it shouldn't matter too much. You know, I've tried to leave all of the questions as open-ended as possible to give people space where they can freely talk about, you know, what they don't like about certain things, what they do like about it. But we'll see. You stop streaming, Hamclub? I mean, do you want to talk on that? Do you want to... Is this going to be interview practice? Do you want to speak on that in my chat now, Ham? While you have the opportunity? Here's your chance to get it open about how it felt streaming starting out, and what were the decisions or you know, what were the principles that led you to quit, basically? Was it just burnout? Did you go too hard all at once? Was it just, you know, constant misery looking at the graph staying the exact same day in and day out? I really need to get into this one. I mean, those are kind of the questions that ooh, nice, Gandalf, that I plan on asking. 2 viewer height Andy, unless a Binding of Isaac streamer hosted you. That's something, so, I mean, I do kind of ask Moose a little bit about raids, but, like, how big were those hosts? I'm curious. Because that's something that I didn't have too much experience with in the past until Moose got raided. Like 200 to 500 people raids? Yeah, so Moose got raided by like, what was it? Like 5,000? 3 to 5,000? He got raided by a few thousand from Critical, which I'm sure felt amazing, and, you know, it certainly encouraged him to stream very regularly for the preceding days, but I don't know how, well, I don't want to be mean, because, like, I know that there are still some people here as a result of the Critical raid, so I don't want to act like, I don't know, there's not a nice way of phrasing this where I'm like, how much permanence did that raid really end up leaving on the streamer who got raided? And, you know, I'm just like a raid of a raid. I got raided from Moose, who got raided from Critical, so I probably feel even less of that, but I don't really think that raids help you out that much as a streamer. Got affiliate instantly. Yeah, that's a given. If only Twitch cared about affiliates whatsoever. Damn. It falls off super quickly. You just started streaming to no audience. I don't know. It's weird for me. I feel like I can't really recommend streaming to literally anyone. You want to start streaming, Sullivan? Here's the thing. I did not feel guilty at all encouraging you to make games, Sullivan, because, like, that is something that, you know, I really do think that anybody can do easier than ever. Streaming is not rewarding. In a way that you can make a game and feel prideful of it, regardless of anybody playing it, you cannot feel good. Like, it's just, like, mentally really difficult to feel good about a stream if no one watched it, right? Like, you can be at the top of your game, and I feel this sometimes. Like, you know, I feel like some of my best streams were streamed to 0 viewers. And I feel slightly better about it because I send all of my VODs to YouTube, so there is some permanence there. But still, there's a part of me that's like, you know, why am I spending hours of my life doing this when, you know, I get nothing out of it? Like, I don't feel good for doing it. Like, even if I myself think that, like, I'm an accomplished streamer and I think that I'm entertaining enough, like, you get into your own head about, like, well, clearly I can't be entertaining enough if I'm streaming to 0 viewers. Like, it's hard to feel good about yourself, even if you know that the content you're making is entertaining. You'll very quickly get illusion to thinking that you're dog shit and that you may as well give up trying because, like, you know, you'll look at stories of people who within like 2 months got to like 1 million subscribers on YouTube or something. You'll look at stories of people getting a raid and keeping all of the viewers from their raid, and that launches them into a successful streaming career. And you're like, why, you know, what am I doing wrong then? And the answer is nothing. You're not doing anything wrong. It's just complete random chance. And, you know, some people don't like to hear that, but anybody who's successful and doesn't think that any of their success came from random chance, you don't want to talk to in the first place. Like, anybody that, like, self-inflated that they think that all of the success in their streaming or YouTube career is fully a result of their grind and how hard they worked at it and how much they put into it is just, like, entirely survivorship bias. Like, there's no merit to any of that. I mean, look, you do have to try. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying that the effort put into it means nothing, Because, like, yeah, if you're putting absolutely zero effort into your content and you're not even trying to be entertaining, then yeah, you know, you're never really gonna catch on unless you're like, I don't know, #1 SM64 streamer, no offense. But in general, there aren't many shortcuts to success here. It's not a matter of how much you put into it. It's just, you have to put some into it and get really lucky. And that's the part that people miss most of the time after they're already successful. I mean, look, there's plenty of people that are super thankful towards their community, and they're like, oh my god, I couldn't do any of this without you. But also, to some degree, the more I hear shit like that, I'm like, this is just fucking good boy points. Like, they're farming fucking brownie points when they're like, I couldn't do any of this without you. I don't know. I'm toxic, I realize, but, like, the more a streamer, like, praises their community and is like, oh, we've got, like, the best community on Twitch, we're just built different, like, everyone here is so friendly and nice. I'm like, come on, dude. We get it. Like, you're already successful. Like, you don't need to keep pushing this, alright? I certainly get a little bittered by it. I don't know. I find myself much more appreciating, like, the stubborn put-offedness of someone like Northern Lion, who clearly, you know, does appreciate the people who, you know, make his living viable and allow him to do the shit that he does on Twitch and on YouTube. But at the same time, like, he's not, I don't know. he's not treating his audience like they're a fucking puppy, you know? He's not giving them head pats and treats every now and then. It gets a bit too much for me. There's a middle ground for sure. Like, I'm not going to say you're either one way or the other. There's plenty of people who do it in a way that doesn't bother me, but when streamers go super into that, I'm like, all right, buddy, we get it. All right, let me catch up a little bit. I mean, streaming clicker games is the same way I've used streaming Path of Exile, which I guess is the next topic I'll leap on to. Yeah, I mean, Nooch, so you're the person who's fucking making me feel dumb by setting PBs constantly, right? You're that person in the Hobbit Discord. There is some validity to that, and that's why I started streaming too. Like, literally, the only reason I started streaming was because I wanted some proof that, you know, I was improving at Link to the Past randomizers. But very, very quickly, after, like, my first couple of streams, I just wanted to stream. Which is weird, because I had never wanted to stream prior to that moment. I've always looked at streaming as something I didn't want to do. But then as soon as I, like, I don't know, got a taste for it, and put myself out there live, like, even though I was doing it just for myself to see my own improvement and record progress, I just had the urge to, like, try and be entertaining. I was, like, you know, conscious of the fact that I was broadcasting myself live, and if anybody saw me, I wouldn't want them to think that I am just, like, a fucking piece of Wonder Bread, you know? I wouldn't want them to see a lack of personality and just, you know, a generic person playing video games. Not that there's anything wrong with that if you can yourself distance your own personality from your persona on stream, but for me, that's always been a difficult thing to do. So, I don't know, I tie my personality probably a little bit too strongly to my streams, and I should learn to accept that streams are not a reflection of who I am, but it's very difficult to separate those things. Anyways. I thought any form of chat interaction while playing a game would be fun, but it really doesn't add anything to it for me. That's something that I definitely ask Moose about, or plan on asking Moose. I say it like I've already done the interview. But your average chat interaction as a small streamer is really interesting because most of it's dog shit. Like, you guys talking right now are fun for me, and I'm enjoying the real conversation because it's actually talking about, like, what I was talking about beforehand. I feel like so often when you're streaming to, like, a really small audience, people jump in and take that as an opportunity to make the stream about themselves. They don't give a shit about you. They don't give a shit about what you're talking about. They're like, there's 5 people in here. If I'm loud enough, I can make this about me. And that's really fucking annoying to me. And I struggle with it. Like, I don't know how to react to that, because, I mean, at the one hand, it feels bad. Like, it does feel bad. Like, say I'm looking at fucking 2 viewers right now, and one person shows up chatting, I'm like, I have to be accommodating. It's hard to push that urge of accommodation away. Like, I know that I shouldn't be accommodating because they don't give a shit about me. I know that I should just tell them to fuck off. But it's really hard in the moment to, like, find that anger when, like, you know, you're just trying to have a good time. Like, you're just trying to be entertaining for everybody. I find it really difficult to find that anger to go off on somebody. Like, I probably should have even gone off a little bit more on Nitra when he saw me playing. So, like, literally, I started stream, like, 2 minutes after I go live, Nitra pops into my chat just to post Resident Sleeper because I'm playing the Hobbit. Like, that's something worth going off on. Like, you're following my fucking notification squad just so you can post the most toxic thing you can think of? You literally showed up just to be toxic. Like, that's all you had to add to the situation, and then he left. Like, that's the kind of shit you have to deal with. But I also, I don't know. I know Nitra a little bit better, so that also kind of made me not want to go off in the moment, but it is dumb. Like, it's dumb as fuck that you have to deal with that kind of thing. I told my old work friend Angelo that I was streaming, like, back when I first started, like, a few months into streaming. One of the first questions he asked was, do you make any money off of it? And I was like, nope, and I plan on keeping it that way. Not for, like, any sort of moral reasons or anything. Like, obviously, I'm an affiliate. If you want, you can pay $5 and get some shitty emotes I made, right? But, like, I would never, like, it just, I don't know, I feel like it's really sad. No offense to anybody who's done this or who plans on doing this, but to me, it's really sad to see somebody with, like, 2 or 3 viewers who has, like, a donation button. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the only one. But, like, I don't know, if you're that desperate to make this a career, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's a little bit too early, and the earlier you do it, the worse it looks. Yeah. Streamer. Unable to drink water like a normal human. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that self-balances itself a little bit, though. Like, being the best at any video game is kind of inapproachable, but especially, like, obviously, the more you get out of it, the harder it's going to be, I guess is the best way to put it. The more attention there is on a particular game, the harder it is to break out in that category and get noticed. Like, if you're trying to get popular streaming via something like SM64 or Minecraft speedrunning, or just Minecraft in general, or fucking League of Legends, or Path of Exile, kind of, like, good fucking luck. They're so overly saturated that you really do have to be, like, the best to get noticed. And even then, like, there are plenty of top SM64 runners with very low viewership. There are plenty of top Minecraft speedrunners with very low viewership. Like, it doesn't even guarantee your success. Later, Sullivan. Sorry, I probably am way too late to saying bye. surprised by my NL take, really. I wouldn't think that that's that surprising. Who is Northernlion? He just seems like a typical YouTuber. I don't know. To me, he's kind of anything but typical, but I guess you kind of have to watch him for a little bit to get that vibe. I guess more lately, he definitely gives off the impression of somebody, like, you know, trying to fit their way into the algorithm or whatnot. Like, he doesn't stray away from doing things that are popular, but his personality and his wit especially, like, goddamn, he picks jokes out of the fly that I would never think of. Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the Moose interview for sure, and he seems to be looking forward to it too. So I'm glad that there's optimism and excitement on both ends. I'm glad, speaking of like the GDQ couch, for example, I'm glad I mean, just there's a number of things that I've done on my stream with people that I don't know. Like, you know, I'm hosting the Hobbit races, and it's open for anybody to join, which, Nooch, by the way, if you're still here, you're welcome to join, because we don't have many people who are interested in joining those. But yeah, I don't know. It's surprising to me how not of a train wreck those have been. Because, like, that it really is, like, the perfect recipe for a train wreck every single time. Like, I can't believe the races haven't fallen apart. But, I mean, I don't know. Just the people who have regularly joined. Like, I love Moose. I love Crix. They're great to talk to. It's been good. I feel like the first few guests are really important to... You're joining the next one? Let's go, Moose. The first few guests are really important to set the atmosphere of something like that. And in the past, when I did blind races with people too, like, I can't believe we got, like, such a nice dynamic of people in that group. Like, Nicholas, I'll always love Nicholas. Like, he perfectly got the vibe of what I wanted to do on my stream, which is why I did, like, a bunch of stuff with Nicholas outside of blind races. As a great group. Like, all of the multiplayer stuff I've done on my stream has been really good. Among Us was... Dude, I forgot about Among Us. Among Us was questionable. Maybe some missteps here and there, but I wasn't in control of who got invited to those groups, so whatever. Tried watching Northernlion's Isaac games and it was boring, but that's a single take. I don't watch his Isaac stuff either. I don't know. If you want, like, an approachable view of Northernlion, I would just say watch his live streams. But, I don't know. I feel like Northernlion is just kind of hard to watch if you haven't watched him for years. It used to be way harder to watch him, because, like, every single bit of content he made was saturated with, like, months and months of compounding in-jokes that you just had to be there to get. But it's less like that nowadays. Yeah, Nooch, if you go to the Hobbit Speedruns Discord, there's an event at the top of the channel list. The next one is scheduled not this Saturday, not the next Saturday, but the one after that. I wanted a slightly larger break in between this one, both because interest has felt middling in it, and I didn't want to have, like, nobody show up for the next race if I scheduled it too soon. And also I want to fit some other multiplayer stuff in the upcoming Saturdays, such as the interview. So that's one Saturday taken out. All right, I think I'm ready to get back to gaming. I don't know how much longer I'll do Hobbit. I plan on going to Pokemon / whatever the fuck. What is the name of the game? It's like Cyrilimi? Can I see my desktop? It's Cyrilim Ultimate is what I'll be playing after this. I basically know nothing about it, but it has, like, surprisingly good Steam reviews. Like, let me look at the Steam reviews for this. The reason I'm playing this, by the way, is because, like, over the week, my girlfriend and I were just, like, casually looking through Steam, like, the recommendation queue, and this popped up. It's got 868 views, 95% are positive. Like, that is glowing criticism for a game. That's very, very good. And it's $20, too, when it's not on sale, so... I'm kind of surprised I haven't heard anything about it. Sorry, I realized my timer's paused when I alt-tabbed there. Used to be big into Tears of Grace, Shadow of Mordor playthrough. Okay. Love to see it. All right. Okay. Let's game. I'm ready to game. Sorry, I've been stalling for too long reading chat. I'm a bad streamer. Sorry. Pay too much attention to chat. Get easily distracted by that kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. This game, that's like the one kind of objective downside to The Hobbit versus any other game I could be playing right now. Like, if I was playing The End is Nigh right now instead of The Hobbit, it would be so much easier to keep up with chat. But when I actually am, like, trying to be good at speed, The Hobbit does not have, like, any openings for looking at chat until you get to Warm Welcome. You get, like, a 30-second reprieve where you kind of have to, like, chug a bit of water to stave off dehydration, and maybe you'll get to read 50% of a chat message if you're lucky. If you're feeling particularly feisty. Don't tell me the fucking music stopped right when I started the fucking run. I think it's still going. I think it's just being a little quiet. It's being moody. No, dude, it definitely fucking stopped. Or no, I hear it coming. Sorry, distracted streamer. Guy who says he doesn't need ADHD medication. I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll actually get prescribed Adderall. I mean, I talked about it in the past. I was prescribed Adderall growing up, but as a younger kid, I did not like it. But also, I don't know, it might have just been a bad prescription, because, like, you can still need a prescription, but just have, like, a bad one, you know? Like, I could have been prescribed a couple millis more than I needed, while I still need some. I don't doubt that I could probably be a significantly more productive person if I just had just a smidge. But I mean, that goes for everyone too, right? Like, I feel like everybody would be a slightly more productive individual if they were on Adderall, so maybe that's not fair criticism of myself. Anyways, yeah, I wanted to, I guess I'll briefly talk about my experiences streaming Path of Exile. I don't know, I tried to be interesting during my Path of Exile streams, but I also just feel like the game inherently lends to, like, not interesting streaming. There's, like, very few people that can pull it off, and I feel like you can only really pull off interesting Path of Exile streams if you're very, very knowledgeable about the game. But, like, me, just a guy who, like, fairly casually plays it, like, I don't fucking know what I was talking about. Like, I think I did one react stream of a Path of Exile announcement video, and it still stuck with me because of how embarrassing it was that I fucked this up. I was trying to make an allusion to Blink Arrow Mirror Arrow, but I was talking about Mirage Archer, dude. Cringe. What an absolute cringe gamer. He has no idea what he's talking about. And I realized the irony to the situation that I'm sure basically nobody in my chat right now, except Nooch, knows what I'm talking about either. I think it was Nooch, at least, who asked about Path of Exile. Hopefully. I can't fucking see to figure out if I'm right or not. But anyways, Path of Exile, it's a fun game. Like, it's genuinely one of the best games out there for a number of reasons. I mean, there are problems with it, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not going to say that it's a perfect craft or anything. I have plenty of issues with Path of Exile, and, you know, my issues with Path of Exile do not line up with the community's issues of Path of Exile either. Like, I think I went off on a stream in the past, back when influences were related to the Crusaders, or whatever the fuck they're called. No, the Crusader is just one of them. The Elder Slayers is the actual name for them. See, you can tell how not really knowledgeable about Path of Exile I am. Here's an insight on one of my takes on Path of Exile. I think it's really bad. At least it was more bad when those influences were more prevalent in the game, and they still kind of are. In fact, probably more so now because of the increased rarity of the Elder Slayer bosses. But anyways, I think it's really bad that the game has the Elder Slayer Exalted Orbs. Like, I think the ability to just slap influence on any already crafted item is really cringe. Like, that, I don't know. To me, the entire point of influences is it's like a tier of base drop ahead of, like, the other item bases. And by being able to slap an influence onto anything you want, kind of removes that. And I'm like, to me, I thought the idea of influenced items was to make more interesting base items, so that you could actually, you know, perceive yourself picking up and crafting a new piece of gear, whereas most of the time you just have, like, your god gear that you use for the majority of mapping and have very little reason to ever pick a new item up off the ground. So that's what I would say is a problem with Path of Exile. Is you know, it's kind of minor because of how niche it is. Like, you already have to be very into Path of Exile to even understand what that problem is. But it always bugged me that, like, the rarity of any influenced base type can only be capped by the rarity of the Elder Slayer currency item. Like, you can never have, in mapping, there are special base items that you would expect as a result of them being special base items that only drop in specific maps. You would have expected the influenced versions of those special bases to be, like, infinitely more rare, because you both have to get that rare base item and you have to get it influenced, which is in and of itself rare. But no, it's, I mean, it's probably slightly rarer, but it's still capped by the rarity of the currency item itself, which I never was a fan of. And I made, like, a fucking Reddit post about it. I made a Path of Exile forum post about it, and I was only met with hate. Nobody agreed with me. Everybody was like, I just want my overpowered item to go boom. You know, like, just let me have the items. So, I don't know. I feel like I don't really jive with the Path of Exile community that well either. But, it's fine. You know, I just play the game. I have fun with it. It's not perfect, but it's definitely the best of its kind for what it's trying to do. Like, I don't understand how people have fun playing something like Borderlands, or, I mean, even Terraria to some degree. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? I don't know, Path of Exile is just more fun. But I also understand that it's hard to get into. Whereas, like, something like Terraria is very easy to get into if you don't mind the incredibly slow start to the game. You don't have to, you know, read, like, 30 infographics to understand how to play Terraria, which can't necessarily be said for Path of Exile. But yeah, Path of Exile, I don't know. I have fun with it. I think it's definitely, like, the worst stream game. I, you know, commend people who are able to stream it and make it interesting. There's not many of them. Like, I think people who are really good at Path of Exile racing, especially, is, like, super impressive. And, like, I watch Zizarin's videos because I think Zizarin's an affable individual. He seems like a cool guy, and I enjoy the kind of content he makes. Whether the average Path of Exile viewer might listen to what I said and say, ew, Ziz, cringe. Who knows? But that's who I find entertaining. And you know, I basically only, like, watch stuff around the start of a league, and then I get washed out. I mean, that's just kind of how the cycle of leagues in a video game works, you know? If you have a scheduled 3-month update cycle, there's gonna be a lot of interest around the update, and it's gonna drop off pretty quickly after that, but it's fun while it lasts, you know? Same could be said about RuneScape leagues, except, you know what? I'll talk a little bit about RuneScape's league. I think that RuneScape's Leagues 3 were kind of shit. I don't know. I was not particularly impressed by Shattered Relics League. I think there were a lot of missed opportunities. I think that the balance of the way that you get the Shattered Relics, I'm like supremely alienating like any of my audience who cares about me as an individual by talking about the most boring, niche, mundane stuff possible. But okay, can I focus for a little bit? Because this is actually important to me that I nail this trick. Because I'm really fucking bad at it. And by bad at it, I mean I'm actually kind of fucking cracked at it. It's okay. Just don't fall, buddy. Okay. Fuck. That's genuinely the best barrels out of Bond I've had in months. Which is kind of embarrassing, but whatever. Let's fucking go with it. I am just glad to be out of barrels and in a real run. Which is kind of scary also, because I'm really not that well practiced at the end game of Hobbit. And don't be surprised if you see me dying in Cloud's Burst and completely throwing this run in the garbage. But we'll see. Fuck, okay, let's talk about RuneScape Leagues 3 to distract myself. I thought Leagues 3 kind of sucked ass, especially when playing it with my girlfriend, because... Am I moving? This is so bad. I'm still not moving? What the fuck, Bilbo? I'm still not moving? What the fuck, Bilbo? I have to be moving now. This is possibly... Am I not moving? That was possibly the worst fucking angle I could ever imagine for that. I should have just, like, taken the death, honestly. Like, god damn it, dude. Fucking up warm welcome, of all things. I don't know how I, like, scuffed myself into doing, like, my camera is always in the worst position possible for that. I used to not have this issue, but all of a sudden, I'm fiddling with it in a fucky-wucky way that I don't like. Alright, let's remedy that. It's fine. It's not that big of a deal. It was definitely like a 30-second time loss, but... There you go. Now I'm moving and I can actually fucking see it. Jesus Christ. This is the worst angle to seal him out. Yeah, thank you for someone else feeling that absolute awful dogshit angle with me. That was really bad. All right, let me speed read chat. What's my take on the decision to remove harvest crafting? Best decision they've ever made. Harvest crafting... Well, I don't know. Do you mean the decision to remove it entirely? Or do you mean the decision to remove the farming? I guess I kind of parsed that a little bit too quickly. Should they remove harvest crafting? No. I think they should have more deterministic crafting. Which I know sounds weird given what I just said about influenced and base drops. But that's genuinely, like, I think that those two things go hand in hand. The reason that I don't like what they've done with influence, and the fact that, especially like now with the new influences, it's literally something that you just put on any fucking item you want to. I don't like it. I thought that influences were a very cool way of keeping, like, interesting new base drops if you do treat an influenced item as a base drop in the way I do, because I think that that's a good way of looking at it. I think that it makes sense to have both of those things. I would want the modifiers on items to be more deterministically craftable, but I would want the base item itself to be harder to get perfect. Whereas now, like, the only thing that really stops you from getting a perfect base is you know, getting a 6 link. Like, that's literally the only thing you care about on the base. And even that is, like, craftable, so it doesn't even fucking matter, right? There's no reason outside of, like item level, right? Like, item level is the only thing that would make you want to pick up a new item off the ground. If you need, like, an item level 84 base or something. Other than that, there's literally no reason to pick anything up off the ground in Path of Exile, which is kind of ass. I think it's in a really bad space. Those are my, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Sorry. I can't focus too much on anything because I'm doing, like, the hard level now. What should have been the only thing difficult. This is awesome movement. I can't believe I fucked up Warm Welcome. I fucked up this jump awful, like absolutely awfully earlier, but I'm glad that that's not repeating. Alright, so yeah, RuneScape Shattered Relics League. I think the worst part about Shattered Relics, to me, is the way that you get the fragments. Like, it makes very little sense that you just get fragments by doing, like, random bullshit skilling or combat. Like, that's so fucking dumb. The entire balance around the previous leagues... I always fuck up my slash jump there. The entire balance between the... Ah, I lost my clip warp, guaranteed. I had so many scuffed long jumps there. It's fine. This run was ass anyways. God damn it. Oh, I didn't lose my clip warp, and now I'm just gonna die because I didn't pick up health because I was so sure that I lost it. Fuck. This is actually... Just do it blind. Fuck it. Okay, that's fine. So, I wanted to adjust my camera there, but if I took the time to adjust my camera doing the long jump, I definitely would have been sniped and died anyways. So I felt like I just had to risk it. This is gonna maybe be like a 10-second PB, if anything. It can still PB, but it really shouldn't. That's fine. Ooh. How did I not lose my clip warp, though? Does it count as jumping when Bilbo gets, like, one of those scuffed long jumps where he gets canceled because he's, like, long jumping into a slope? Or was I seriously just, like, 1 or 2 frames off of getting my clip warp stolen? Because I felt like my clip warp was gone for sure there. That was such bad movement. Hello? There you go. That was the worst I've done that segment in a while. Nerves are definitely a factor. Nerves are always a factor with Cloud's Burst and me, myself and I. I can never not feel the nerves on Cloud's Burst. Well, actually, that's not true. I didn't feel the nerves at all when I was racing with Crix that one time where I got my last PB. See, I should have just hoped that the arrow would have missed. Because I'm cracked at doing wall walking. I just got scared is all. But yeah, in the race with Crix, it wasn't a factor because I had already lost the race. So I didn't even feel good about the PB. I probably should have, because like that PB was like a minute or so PB. But it definitely feels like the wind taken out of your sails a little bit when you PB during a loss in a race, and also your competition PB'd by just like an insanely higher margin. It's like, ah, well, fuck me, I guess. No offense to Crix. I mean, he's just sicker than me, so I can't be upset. Alright, is this going to PB? I can't fucking tell, and I'm not going to look at the time. I'm going to leave it a surprise to everyone, including myself. Will my scuffed movement end the run? Because I really don't think I have too much margin of error for the PB here. Oh my god, I almost fucking fell. That would be embarrassing. Alright. I can never make it up there in that slope boost. I don't really know what angle you're supposed to have. No! 2.4 seconds! Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, that's fine. I don't even care. I don't even care, honestly. Honestly, it's not even like it's not even a big deal. Really? I don't care. I'm not upset, and it's not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, so I feel like, I don't know. I feel like there should be more things like harvest crafting, but there should be more difficult, like, chase base items in the game. Personally, I know literally no one's going to agree with me on this. I think you shouldn't be able to craft sockets. I mean, there is like a real issue there. I think you shouldn't be able to craft sockets except for unique items, in which case uniques should just always exist with the maximum amount of sockets. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there needs to be more reason to pick things up off the ground. But I also like deterministic crafting, so it's a weird... You would think that those two things can't mix together, but I think they can. I think that there should be more deterministic crafting and also more reason to pick things up off the ground. There you go. That's my full dedicated take on that subject. No. Path of Exile is not hard to beat. I mean, especially if you're not playing on hardcore. Like, even on hardcore, I mean, Path of Exile is not fun hardcore for a number of reasons. Like, the people who enjoy hardcore almost exclusively having a macro to log out of the game should show you that the game, I don't know, isn't really balanced for hardcore. Not that the game should be balanced for hardcore, but also, I wish it was a little bit more. I definitely think that the game shouldn't be balanced for solo self-found, necessarily. Though I don't know, I have mixed thoughts on that, too. I do think the game should be fun without trading, but also, like, trading is a large part of the game, and they should make that interesting as well, so it's hard to balance those things. But, yeah, Path of Exile sucks on hardcore. It is not fun. There are many things that just instantly kill you out of nowhere, and you just need to, like, know how to play differently on hardcore if you want to survive. I've seen a little bit of Path of Math. I don't know. I feel like if they're the person I'm thinking of, let me check to make sure I'm not slandering somebody. Ba-ba-ba. Maybe this isn't who I was thinking of. No, it is. I feel like they, there was a period on their channel where they leaned pretty heavy into some weird drama stuff that, like, didn't really, I don't know, just felt like they were pushing drama in Path of Exile when there wasn't any need for it at all. But I don't know much about their content outside of that. This guy's gonna smash my time casually while talking to chat. Dude, I mean, for one, I didn't. And for two, I don't know. Like, that's... I had the idea... I think I talked about this on stream before. I had the idea of, like, wouldn't it be funny? Like, wouldn't it be a funny little meme if every now and then I did, like, a try-hard attempt at a speedrun where I force myself not to talk for the entirety of the speedrun? That would be the worst decision I could make for myself, for a number of reasons. One, I wouldn't enjoy it at all, because then my head would be too focused on this is only entertaining if I'm doing well at the video game, which is something I never want on my stream. Tying my, self-esteem to my ability to be entertaining is bad enough. Tying my self-esteem to my ability to play games is an entirely other bag of worms that I don't want to mix myself in. So yeah, if I did a try-hard attempt at a Hobbit speedrun every now and then, I would just probably feel worse about how bad I'm doing in it. Whereas I get off a little bit easy, like failing a Cloud's Burst like I did just now, knowing that it's because I'm trying to banter over the top of it. Like, that's an excuse! Don't get me wrong, like, I truly think that my talking over the gameplay helps me. Like, I think it's easier to calm my mind if I'm just bantering about random shit. But it does work as a nice excuse for me choking. It had to be within a couple frames. I swear, I don't understand how I lost my clip warp there. I really should have lost my clip warp. I would have felt less bad if I had lost my clip warp than what actually happened there. Because, I mean, the clip warp I could have blamed on the fact that my long jump was eaten twice by the slope. Yeah, no. I mean, well, trade is its own bag of worms, right? I'm saying bag of worms too much. Streamer, get a new idiom. Some of your times have been beaten. Would you like to update them? Yes. You can save those golds. Got a fucking 1430 sum of best. The better my sum of best in this gets, the more embarrassing it is that I still have, whatever it is, like an 18-minute run, more or less. Anyways. Yeah, I do want to talk a little bit about Shattered Relics, though, because I think that there's something interesting to talk about. The balance with where you got the relics. I mean, maybe I should, like, preface the premise of RuneScape Leagues to start. Oh, thank you, Nooch. Thank you. I did not restart my game. Actual clutch savior. Let me get that open again. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, let me preface my my discussion about RuneScape Leagues by talking about the only other RuneScape League I played. Because I've only played 2 of them. I wasn't there for the first one. I mean, it's just easier to find the little things streamers are doing wrong when you're watching it versus when you're doing it. Like, I'm here fucking trying to fit a puzzle together in my mind about how to make talking about RuneScape Leagues interesting. I'm not thinking about the game at all. But, yeah, I in general, it's easier to make those things out than when you're actually live. Because I never fucking remember to reset my game. I fucking forgot to do it on the races, and I forgot to set my priority to high multiple times. Which I might have even done now that I think about it. Did I set my priority to high? I don't think I did. Fuck. See, like, I can casually talk about it in conversation, but still fucking forget to do it. Alright. Yes, old school RuneScape. Okay, so how do I make this interesting? I think it's best to talk about the second old school RuneScape League first. Because I think that Leagues 2 was really well done, and I think that most people would agree that Leagues 2 was really well done and was a lot of fun. So I have no understanding of what the first RuneScape Leagues was, but I think it was, like, literally just you do tasks and you get, like, relics that make you stronger. I don't think there was any, like, meta-level weirdness to it. In Leagues 2, it was the exact same, except with the addition that you have to unlock regions of the map before you can go there. So you have a limited amount of space to do what you want to do and to do the tasks you want to do to you know, to level up and to get more content unlocked. Oh, you know what? Music. You know what? Fuck Zero Ranger. And I have to close the game to open up RuneScape OST. But we're talking about RuneScape, so it only makes sense to do this. It's a little quiet, ain't it? There you go, that feels better. Experimenting with audio. I feel like in general I have my music a little bit too quiet, because it's just like the way I hear it. It sounds loud to me, but I realize it doesn't always come across as that loud in vivo on the actual live stream. I feel like it could even go up a smidge more, but I'm also hesitant because I know that a lot of the old school RuneScape songs are not balanced well, and it'll go from being really quiet to blasting my eardrums out in a matter of one song. What does that help with? You haven't done that? Not everybody has to set the priority to high. It's only if you experience sometimes when you long jump, your long jumps are cut short of their supposed maximum distance. Oh fuck, I disabled my arbitrary timer when I pressed 3. Damn it, dude. The entire integrity of my stream is ruined. Okay, well then, yeah, if you get your long jumps cut short, then you should be setting your process to high priority. It just makes it so that's less likely to happen. But it's also very CPU dependent, so, you know, your mileage may vary. It makes it so I almost never experience long jump glitch, but I don't know, it doesn't help everybody equally. So you might still have problems, but it certainly probably makes it better. Like, I doubt it would make it worse if you changed it. Anyways, RuneScape Leagues. Yeah, so let's start from the top again, since I got distracted with the music. Yeah, Leagues 2, you unlocked areas. Leagues 3, you unlock skills, and also bosses. And also, you can unlock the ability to skip certain quest lines. It was a little bit unfocused and messy, to say the least, I guess. But the thing that I felt was the weakest part about Leagues 3 is the way you get the relics. So in Leagues 2, the only other one I played, relics were a reward for doing tasks. So as you did more and more tasks, which are like the, you know, the main thing to do in the leagues to make them more interesting than just playing RuneScape regularly. I mean, a lot of them were things you would just do by playing RuneScape regularly, like get to level 30 in your first skill, right? Like that's, you know, it's not like that wouldn't happen on accident. Most of the things are going to happen on accident. But there are some things that, like, because, I don't know, I feel like everyone plays RuneScape a little bit differently, unless you're, like, a super meta gamer and just, like, exclusively do the most optimal pathing to success. But expecting most people who play old-school RuneScape to not be that way, I feel like most people just, you know, they have their preferences, they avoid certain things, like, even if doing Winter Todd is definitely the best way to level up fire making. You know, I wouldn't be surprised to see that there's some people who don't like it and who just want to light fires over and over again. Honestly, the more I'm saying this, the less likely I'm imagining that being a real person. I feel like I just made up a guy. But anyways, you could see it. You could find that person, I'm sure. But yeah, the tasks will force you out of your comfort zone a little bit sometimes. And that's how you progressed in Leagues 2, like almost entirely, is by doing tasks to get more, you know, relics and to be better at gaming, to game even more efficiently, because the more relics you got, the easier it was to do basically everything in the game. I was very saddened to see that Leagues 3 did not include the mushroom from Leagues 2. The Zenaris Fairy Teleport Ring mushroom was my favorite of the relics. I mean, I didn't really play it that long, so I'm probably sounding like a pathetic little newbie gamer when I say that, but being able to teleport with an item in your offhand instead of your main hand was really nice, because for the most part, offhand items in RuneScape are kind of pointless. Anyways, I'm sure that's going to upset a number of people as well. Aside the point is, I felt that Leagues 3 really fell apart when, so you still have to do tasks, but the only thing the tasks give you are, like, the passive benefits that, like, the XP bonus and, like, rare item drop bonus, and they give you additional relic slots, but you still have to find the relics yourself, which I felt made the progression awkward, to put it politely. Especially, like, I was playing it with my girlfriend. Like, it was just really, I don't know, it was just a bad feeling when I happened to get lucky enough to get a relic combination early that lets me, like, cook everything in my inventory instantly. Or that lets me, you know, gather 3 fish at once and 50% of them get sent to the bank. Like, these are, like, very large benefits that previously were rationed out over, you know, a balanced, you know, incline of difficulty, like each preceding relic was harder to get than the last one before it, is not the case in Leagues 3 at all. All of the relics are about as easy to get as the one that came before it. It's just, you can't equip them until you have the slots. But once you have 3 slots, which happens very early, it's literally just down to random chance, which kind of feels awful. Like, it just feels bad to be restricted, to not be able to do, like, you know, for my girlfriend, she couldn't do the cooking thing, and for me, I couldn't get money from agility training for the longest time. Like, I didn't get the, what's it called? Whatever, there's Golden Brick Road, there it is. I didn't get the Golden Brick Road until I was agility level, like, 60 or something. Like, if you're particularly fucked by RNG, you just can't do certain things in Leagues 3, which felt really bad. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it was kind of scuffed from the premise. I wish that there were more guaranteed ways of getting the relics. Like, don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal, and they wanted it to be exciting to do every bit of content, because every bit of content could give you one of those relic fragments, but at the same time, I mean, for one, that just kind of homogenizes the game, so that, like, you're not even doing anything out of the ordinary since you're getting the fragments regardless. And there's not even that much of a reason to get more slots past, like, 3 or 4. I mean, there is, but, like, I mean, that's basically where we lost interest, is we got the 4 fragment slots, and we were like, alright, I don't know, I guess we could, like, keep grinding until we get, like, max level, but it just got less interesting significantly faster than the League that came before it, where, you know, you could look at and see the very powerful things that you can do if you just push for, like, a handful of more tasks. In this League, it was just like, yeah, well, I mean, I guess, like, I could equip these powerful things at the same time as these other powerful things, but for the most part, like, there are no relic combination, like, set pieces that are more than 4 relics, I don't think. So, like, once you have 4 slots, you can literally do everything. Like, you have the full potential of all of the relic fragments, assuming you've gotten them by random chance, of course. It just felt like a way more, I don't know, scuffed way of doing things. It was certainly way less enticing than the one that came before it. Like, I don't know, I had no interest, and especially once you start getting to the fucking boring skills, because, like, we had, like, decent levels in all of our skills. Why am my angle is bad on this today. I keep not getting the clip the way it's supposed to go. Yeah, like, once you stop leveling, like, the fun skills, and I hazard to say that agility is a fun skill, but they definitely made it a little bit more fun with the ability to get, like, 15k stacks on the ground fairly regularly. But once you get out of the more fun skills and you're having to train, like, Hunter and stuff to get tasks accomplished, it's just, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, RuneScape is fickle to get right and to be entertaining. It was fun at the start, which is, I don't know, would I say that I got my $10 subscription worth out of Leagues 3? Yeah, I would still say that it was worth the time we spent playing it and worth the money we spent to play it, but it was certainly a lot less entertaining and captivating than what came before it. And I think that they know that too. Like, very shortly, within, like, the first couple of days of release, they had to quickly make the skills, like, significantly cheaper, because another problem with the way they did it and unlocking skills is, I don't know, if you were a particularly maliciously compliant individual who didn't like the premise of the League, you could very easily fuck yourself out of being able to do anything productive by, like, spending all of your Sage's Renown, I think is what it was called, on absolute dog shit skills that you can't even use, really. So they cheapen those up pretty quickly. I think the biggest example of, like, just a massive oversight, and I don't know how it was an oversight when they had, like, an extra month and a half to 2 months to work on the League as a result of the, like, group Iron Man thing they did. They had so much extra time to think about these things, but somehow it still shipped with if you pick warrior as like your starting class for the league, they give you attack and not strength. So have fun doing 1 damage to absolutely everything until you spend the Sage's Renown to get strength. Like, I don't know how they didn't think that would feel awful to play. Like, I picked Magic, because Magic seemed like the easiest choice, but I imagined ranged would also feel fairly good if you get fletching early. I just don't understand. Like, you can't play the game with attack and no strength. Like, even with, like, a mithril scimitar, like, which is kind of like the best thing you can get early. Ah, fuck. This pillar looks weak. You still do, like, 1 damage training attack. Like, you can't really do anything with just attack in old school RuneScape. There are a number of things that left me feeling not great about the league. Which is, I don't know, kind of, I mean, it certainly contributed to not playing it, right? I'm not going to say it had nothing to do with why we stopped. I mean, we would have stopped eventually anyways. Path of Exile League came out, which takes precedence just because Path of Exile is more fun than RuneScape. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I still enjoy RuneScape, right? But it really is, like, I don't know. It's just a Skinner box at its core, which I mean, there's not even anything necessarily wrong with that. This is coming from somebody who made a clicker game, right? Like, I understand the appeal to Skinner boxes, and I still like RuneScape, don't get me wrong, but I'm surprised every day that RuneScape exists in current day 2022. Like, I can't believe that there's still, like, enough of a community to keep old school RuneScape from dying. Like, I would have expected them to shut down the servers, like, a year after putting them up. It is, it's crazy to me that it still gets, its mileage. I mean, stuff like Iron Man certainly helped. Like, I had a friend who, I have a friend who still regularly plays OSRS for his Iron Man character. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. That genuinely seems like just pure misery. Like, I can't imagine having fun with Iron Man and RuneScape, but it's people like it, I guess. All right, I'm done with Hobbit for now. I feel like I've bantered over Hobbit as much as I can. Well, yeah. I have one more thing I wanted to talk about, but I guess I can talk about it probably while I play the next game I had lined up. All right, so we're going to. Sorry for anybody who's a Hobbit enjoyer, who only likes to watch The Hobbit, which I doubt is anybody. But I do understand. Like, look, I made the argument earlier that I clearly want my stream to be about my discussion rather than the game itself, but I also understand. What? My splits have been updated? Did I seriously get another gold? I didn't think I did. I also understand just wanting to watch a particular game. You're the Hobbit enjoyer, sorry.